everybody, welcome back to our channel. It's your girl Bex.
And I'm Carly.
And we're here to deliver content designed to unlock your mindset and actions to be limitless. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And like we always say, ring the bell notification to get notified of more content just like this.
All right, so this week we're going to be talking about another sports personality, and that's none other than footballer Nadia Nadim. So Nadia was born in January 1988 in Afghanistan, where she was raised by her mother and father, a general in the Afghan army, together with 4 sisters. When she was young, she had the heartbreaking news that the Taliban had executed her father, after which her family decided to escape Afghanistan as it wasn't a safe place for a family of 6 women. Her family managed to escape to Europe, and that's where she discovered football when she saw girls training near her refugee camp close to Copenhagen. The 33-year-old made her debut for the Danish national team as a young prospect at the Algarve Cup in 2009 and has since represented her country almost 100 times. Nadia is a Muslim and is studying to be a reconstructive plastic surgeon for a career after football. One of her sisters is a doctor, 2 are nurses, 1 works with disabled people, and all of which still live in Denmark. So it's Nadia Nadim.
So Nadia became a Danish citizen in 2008 and she started in the national team Denmark in 2009. She scored a total of 200 goals over her career and she's almost played for Denmark 100 times as well. So she recently won the French title in PSG, and she's now going to join a team in America, racing Louisville, and she really chose that team as well, not just because they're a great team, but also because of the way the seasons are. It finishes shorter or sooner, so she can go back and carry on with her studies. She's got 1 semester left before she's actually a qualified doctor, and she wants to go on to be a reconstructive plastic surgeon, which is incredible as well.
100%. You know what's so cool about the document? I was watching her TED Talks, and obviously she was like football or a doctor. And I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was a teacher or what. And it was literally like to her, well, you got to choose. You're going to either be a doctor or you're going to be a surgeon. And she was kind of like, no, you're not telling me what to do with my life. Watch this. I will show you. And she just knew that no matter what, I'm going to do both. So I love that she's been able to, she's clearly got 2 passions and she's managed to juggle them and focus to allow herself to be able to do, yes, it might be slower, the fact of getting to a doctor, but ultimately she'll get there knowing as well that football's only a short amount of time. You're only really going to play that while you're younger. You can be a doctor for the rest of your life. So I think that's incredible that she didn't let somebody force her to pick and she found a way to balance both of them.
And I think that really comes from her family, because I was listening to an interview on her podcast as well, and she was saying about how her family, like the mindset at home is like, you can always do better, you can always do more. Do you know what I mean? So like you said, she's got a sister that's a doctor, 2 nurses, 1 that's already working with, disabilities and stuff. And it's just like, imagine you've come from such a hard start. You've had such a hard start in life. And one of the things that she said is that being in Denmark and the whole journey from seeking asylum and all of the rest of it, they were given a second chance. And she said, it's only right for us to make sure that we made it we gave it a good shot. You know what I mean? We made the most of it. And I think that is really, really inspiring.
100%. Like she was saying, her mum was working 3 jobs and she was getting tired of not having food or, enough money and struggling. So her and her sister, she had like a crappy little bike. She said it like no lights, it was like 1 brake or something. And she started doing a paper round, her and her sister. So from there, she managed to save up and get a scooter. So she was like, right, so now I've got a scooter. That means I can do more routes. So, and then from there, she got her own, I think it was her own newsstand, and her mum could stop working over that. So straight away, she's always had that focus, that discipline, and entrepreneurial mindset as well. Because like you say, you've gone through that struggle, you know where you don't want to be. So she did whatever she could to get out of there and help her family, which is amazing.
And you know what, again, I think it comes from those early moments, right? Because in the podcast, it was talking about, the guy kept asking questions like, oh, did you know what was going on? Like, you know, when people are saying you got to go and do this, you got to go and do that, were you trustworthy of people and all the rest of it? And she was just like, we had no choice. It was either this or go back home, like to where we knew as my mum as a single mother, and then us as just girls, it wasn't gonna run. And it was just like, the focus when they got told to do something, they were just doing it. They were just acting. And eventually they got to somewhere that was safe, you know what I mean? And it was just consistent, that decision making from the mum, quick. There was no, like, you just had to make quick decisions and just pray and just hope to God that it was going the way that you hoped it to go, you know what I mean? And it's just like, it's just incredible.
Like, I loved how she got into football, like, because where they were in the refugee camp, and she used to watch them play, and she was talking about, there was a specific girl, she said she was a tiny little thing, that she was so good at football and she just loved it. But she noticed when they were doing football drills that they would kick the balls, but not all of them would get retrieved. So she got her and her mates and took some bags and they're like, right, we're going ball hunting. A couple hours later, they found 23 balls. And but what she said though, yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? But what she said was, she felt really bad. She's like, we can't keep these. So she went to them and said, oh, hey, we've found your balls. And the guy took the newer ones and let them keep the rest. And that was it from there. She practiced all the time. And what she said it became an obsession. I had to, because I knew, and she said, I'd go to sleep dreaming I'm going to be a footballer. And she said, that was what she said, there's something pulling me forward. And it was football. And this is like we were talking last week about being obsessed with something. That's laser focus. And I mean, look what she's gone on to achieve. It's incredible.
And just going back to those early times, like she was saying that there was football ground, like there was a football pitch or something within the refugee camp, but there was no footballs. So like they couldn't actually play football there. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's what he's saying. Like then they found those the girls and the guys, the boys that were training and stuff. And that's, yeah, like you said, she just fell in love with it. So when, like, just going back to the early life, is that in terms of like the way that it was when the Taliban came and overtook, is like that all of the women, they shouldn't be working, they couldn't work, they couldn't go to school, they couldn't do their daily chores. And Nadia was saying that her mum was a woman who was smart, she was educated, and if something didn't make sense, she would ask questions. She wasn't a person that was going to be oppressed. And that was slowly becoming a problem, not necessarily to them, but they could see examples of it happening to other women. So for example, a lady went out, she was wearing her burqa, but her arms were showing. She had her nails done. And as an example, they chopped off her arms. And so it was just like stories like this. So whilst they were lucky that nothing happened to them directly, but they were hearing stories. The football stadium, the Taliban were taking people there and making an example of people and killing people there. And it's just like, she said, I'm lucky because I've made it out. But what about all of the other people and all of the other kids that haven't made it out? You know what I mean? And it's like, her mum basically decided that, boom, they're going to leave. They sold everything. They sold their house, they sold their belongings, the jewelry, the cars, everything. And they got in touch with a human smuggler. And they went from Afghanistan to Pakistan.
Italy.
There was no goodbyes, no nothing. Then they went to Italy.
They had fake passports, didn't they? When they went to
exactly.
Italy, yeah.
And just on that, like, so the smuggler come back and said, look, I've got passports for 2 of your daughters. We can send them now. The mum was like, no, we're all going together. When we can all go together, then that's when we'll go. And the plan was to go to the UK as well, because the mum's parents were in the UK with the auntie as well. And when they actually left Italy to go towards the UK, that's where they thought they were going. And then they ended up in Denmark. Yeah, and you know,
she said they expected to see Big Ben.
Exactly.
And they should do just
they're just like, where are we? And it's mad because the interview was like, okay, so what happened when you got out? And they were like, well, we had to ask somebody like, what country are we in? And they were just like,
wow.
That's crazy. Like, imagine someone's like comes up to you and says, "Oh, what country am I in?" Can you imagine if someone come up to you?
Imagine that.
Like,
You've got no idea, because she was
no
saying
idea where you are.
cold, hungry,
Yeah.
and then it was a police officer that gave them banana, milk and toast, and she said the banana was the best tasting thing. We're so lucky that we have been born in the UK, and obviously there's lots of other countries where we haven't had to go through that. But could you just imagine every day you don't know what's going to happen? Bombs flying over your head, people getting kidnapped, people getting killed. And we know, you see it all the time with, like, obviously what the Taliban have done. Malala Yousaf, another incredible story as well. No school, no work, nothing. So, I mean, her dad, a general in the Afghan army, so senior, and then for him to be executed. I mean, it's incredible that her mum knew and saw, we've got to go. Because you imagine so many people, they'd be terrified. 5 children, because it was her and her 4 sisters. You don't know what could happen, but it's that bad. You'd rather take that risk than stay where you are. Like, I can't just imagine what that must feel like.
And every time they got to like a checkpoint, let's say, the smugglers were saying to them, if you get caught, it's done. You don't get your money back, nothing. Like, you don't know us, we don't know you. Do you get what I'm saying? So they would be like, right, we're going to tell you to run to that van. You have to run there. Like, literally, the mum had the baby. They've got the 2 kids and all the rest of it. Like, there's 2 younger ones, and Nadia and her older sister, like, trying to grab them and run. And it's just wild. Like, at 10 years old, you know, and then you've got younger siblings. Like, what? And I just wanted to quickly just jump back to the police officer. In the podcast that I was listening to, the guy was saying it is probably quite lucky that you managed to speak to a good police officer, because this could have all gone very bad. Like, you know what I mean? And they did it. She's got a book out as well, and there's also a documentary coming out on her this year, I believe.
About that. Yeah, I've got to watch that, definitely.
And at the launch of the book, the publisher got the police officer to come to book launch as well. So 20 years later, she actually got to meet him properly. So I thought that was incredible as well. And really, I just wanted to just highlight like how we even came to hear about Nadia Nadim, because as somebody who loves football, and I guess I don't follow women's football as much, but as someone who loves football, I've never heard of her before. Like, this is the first time that we're hearing about her. And it's because she was on the Euro, for the Euros, she was on the panel with ITV. So that's how, and then on Twitter, there were people talking about her, talking about if you're going to show anybody a role model, if you're going to show your girls a role model, show Nadia Nadim. And then there was a comment that said, not just the girls, the boys as well, because she's inspirational. And then one comment on social media that really stood out to me, and it's this: let's normalize women like this as a role model for our girls. There is no limit to what you can accomplish. If you want it bad enough, you can get it. And it's the like this part, because the role models that are out there right now, and this is where Be Limitless comes in, and this is what we really want to bring to our platform, is that not everybody is the slim, and there's nothing wrong with this, by the way, but the slim, pretty girls on IG, the models, the influencers, not everybody fits that mold. You know what I mean? And we really want to highlight some of these other success stories that can be role models as well. You know what I mean? I just think it's really, really important that we can highlight those people as well. And I think that it's cool that we've been able to actually find this one as a gem, and bring it to the wider audience, really. Hopefully we'll have an even bigger audience one day. It's just it's a remarkable story. And it's just like, even in the face of adversity, if you put your mind to something, you will always achieve, you will always succeed, even if it takes you 10 years when you thought it was only going to take you 5. Like, if you keep going and you remain consistent, you know, you've got a whole family there that have literally had their whole life torn apart, and they're all doing incredible. You know what I mean?
All of them.
All of them doing incredible.
And I love what Nadia said. She said, I have one goal in life. I want to be the best in everything I do. And she's doing it. And I'm really excited to see, because I believe she wants to go to Africa and places like Afghanistan, you know, to take her being a doctor and go and help people. And there's one thing I've really loved in the TED Talks is she talks about the spark. So we'll play that for you now and see what she says.
I'm telling you the story to share the importance of this feeling or the nod that you get. I call it the spark, yeah? It can be in the shape of love, the love for the game that always has pulled me forwards in life. Or it can be in shape of a push. When someone is trying to push you down and you refuse and you push out of it. When life puts you in situations you do not want to be in, you feel it right here. This feeling that grows bigger, this nod. That's how it starts. Not the spark, does not discriminate. It doesn't matter what you've been through, who you are, where you're going. Everyone gets it. So when you get it, use it as a fuel for your dreams. Use it to dream, and when you dream big.
So as my top says, you've probably seen me wear this before. Nah, bigger, God. And that's all about dreaming bigger. Like whatever you have, 10x it, 100x it. Because even if you don't reach it, you will at least be further than you probably ever imagined. And it's really important that you set goals, set those big, massive goals, and then you break it down into actionable steps, as we've already spoken about before. But everything starts with a dream, and we are all dreamers, so just go and dream big.
Absolutely.
So on that note, that's the end of our video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I've been your girl, Bex.
And I've been Carly. Thank you very much for watching this week's episode, and we will see you next week.
Peace.